The
That's really good.
closest game to recreating the Slay the Spire high.
Just like looking at like the list of stuff I played in Steam. Fucking veiled experts, baby.
We're live, by the way.
Sorry, YouTube.
Oh, I don't care. I don't think YouTube cares.
Rocket League. I feel like I played the most Bone Razor minions. Stupid.
Bone Razor. I'll give you
Was
Bone
Pizza
Razor.
Tower in 2023?
Yeah, it was, I believe.
Pizza Tower's pretty fucking good.
Trying to get right with the Lord. Right with the camera angle. Okay. You ready to record?
Yeah, you want to send me the link so I can monitor it?
Oh. This part.
Bad in recording room. It's the place. It's the place. Recording room. Oh, didn't we record it in the recording room last time?
Yeah, but it's the way that like Discord puts the video and stuff is like confusing, and I didn't want to have to deal with it this time. I could do it next time.
Well, so you can maximize it so you don't see the people.
Mm.
Do you want to jump in there real fast and see if it works, and we can just jump back into this channel if it doesn't? Because the video will be in the same spot.
Sure. Let's try.
We can come back here. It'll be all right.
Okay.
Hold tight, YouTubers.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is your video on? Is my video on?
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't have it showing.
Can you... Does it work for you?
Yeah, it works. I have to just tweak.
Oh, no, if it's not the same, we can just go back.
No, it's fine. The alt
the alt
hotkey is drastically changing my life for the better. Jesus, bro,
numbers.
don't. This kind of like technical blunder and oversight is rare on my part. And to have it happen, actually, that happened to me at work earlier today where I just wrote something that was like so stupid and incorrect that I should know. And someone commented on it while editing, and I was like, I cannot believe I wrote that. Like, I can't believe I committed that to a document and just let it go. It's unbelievable, really.
That's why they don't pay you the big bucks.
They pay me the better bucks than I had before, so I'll take it.
That's nice. Are the people, are we big on your screen or are we small? Or does it matter?
You're big enough.
Okay.
I'm still, for the live stream, I'm not using like anything whatsoever. Or I'm not using my webcam. I'm using this camera, my other camera. Okay. Hello. Those who have joined.
Icons in the chat.
In the chat. W's in the chat. Okay. Are you ready to start recording?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, record. Anybody got any ideas for categories?
I'll put that in the bad end channel real quick.
In the chat. I can't look at the chat or else it changes
I got you.
changes the nature of the display. Can I get like a pop out of the chat? Can I get a pop out
I'll
of the
redo the
chat? Okay. Do you want to intro us or?
Ready?
Yeah, it's 1:31 by the way.
Sure. I make sure when I talk loud, it's good. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bad End Podcast, episode 131. A great palindromic number for you. In the first podcast of 2024, we fell off a little bit there at the back end of the year because it's the holidays and we were spending time with our family and we didn't want to do a podcast. But we're back. We're here to talk a little bit about some GOTY 2023 cleanup, plus what I've been playing, which is nothing that's come out in 2024. What Josh has been playing, which is everything, and maybe give you some bad end GOTY awards. How's that sound, Josh?
I'm down.
You into that?
Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better. You've
Do
had a
that?
couple bouts with life non-threatening illnesses.
I have a current bout with a non-life-threatening illness. So I'll sound more like Napoleon Dynamite this episode than I normally do. So yeah,
Good.
let's talk about what you've been playing before we start talking about GOTY stuff. And I want to talk to you about one game specifically that this man won't shut up about on the Discord, which is Norp Apolog, which is spelled GNORP APO something. If you type Norp in Steam, you'll find it. But Josh, this game looks like trash. But it's got 1 million positive reviews on Steam, and everyone in the Discord loves it. What's going on?
Not everybody in the Discord loves it. We've had one negative, and
Okay.
for the record, the reason why I talked about it is because I feel like there's almost more to say about the game than there is to do in the game, which is why I find it interesting. It's like
Ooh,
it's like a mountain
that's good bad
or
fodder.
something, you know? We need more games
Big
like that.
accusation / praise.
Accusation.
Just like an idle game.
Yeah, it is an idle game.
There's a lot of idle games.
Yes, but this one is different, Kyle. And the reason why I say that is because so at the beginning it feels just like a normal idle game. You start making your Norps and they start doing stuff. They hit this rock and then these shards of the rock fall off, and then you have your other Norps grab those shards, collect them, and then you use that to buy more Norps to then collect more shards of the rock ad infinitum. But basically what's interesting about that recipe is that, like, as you slowly start ramping up, you start interacting with systems that are available in a bunch of other games. There's like perks, talent trees, kind of persistent upgrades, but you'll get to a point where your progress starts tapering off and it becomes like, it plateaus at a certain point. And it's an interesting puzzle that they start asking you at that point where it's like, do I just need to let my system run for a couple more hours and just let the Norps do their thing so that I could buy the next big upgrade to bump myself up a bit further? Or do I have to do what's called prestiging, which is taken, I believe, from Call of Duty, by the way, which is very funny, where you reset your game progress, you take your progress points, essentially you get a couple talent points for how much progress you've made in the game, from how many shards you've collected, and then you can then use those to upgrade your talent tree, bring those into your next, quote, run, as it were. So it's got kind of a, quote, roguelike element in the persistent upgrades, but you have this dichotomy of productivity mixed with this like idle game quandary of, should I wait it out and see if I can get to the next level that way? Or do I need to have more APM? Should I be upgrading smarter? And you really want to optimize those NORPs so that you can like obviously waste less time. But all that being said, sometimes waiting does pay off. Like sometimes you really just do need to get over the hump, which is why they allow you to run the game minimized. So you don't even have to be playing the game. You can just have it running in the background, which is why I brought it up as like a really interesting kind of second screen game, which someone asked for a good rec for a second screen game. So that's like essentially part of the mechanic is like, should I wait? Should I let the idle game be an idle game? Or am I not solving this puzzle accurately and I should just like blow it all up and start over again? So I think that's a really interesting puzzle. It takes like really different kind of vectors into mind and variables that we don't typically take into consideration when it comes to puzzle games or idle games or progression games, that I found to be an interesting question to ask of the player.
Well, I'm going to tell you
I
something,
yield
Josh.
my time. Yeah.
There is actually a game that is relatively popular in the idle game space called Territory Idle, which
I've never heard of
notably
this.
has the same mechanic where the idea, I don't know, like, I think the idle game space is really interesting because everyone sort of hates it and everybody like moves away from it, and none of like the gamers think about it. But I think that's like such a fertile ground for them, people starting to like do weird stuff. Like I think it was Everest Pipkin did that like weird body horror idle game. Like it was called, I don't remember what it was called. It was like the duck, the foot, and the cow or something. So they're kind of in that space. I think this game is interesting because it seems to have been broken out of like the idle game ghetto, of like incremental game clicker people. But Territory Idle is one that hasn't. But in my, never-ending quest to play all video games, I played Territory Idle a bit, and the way it works, which sounds sort of similar to NORP, is that you have a prestiging system, but the idea is that you prestige. I think it's. I don't remember what the resource. I think it's like gold, but basically you prestige based on your income. So the way Territory Idle works is that you sort of have like a grid of spaces available to build stuff on. You start out with like 4 spaces or whatever, and you can kind of buy more spaces. But the thing to do is to get your income sort of as high as possible, and then you prestige, and that converts into a resource that you can't get from normal building. That lets you do and sort of invest in different stuff. So what the cool thing about that is, like, you sort of what it sounds like NORP is doing, the game doesn't just benefit you like sitting around for 2 weeks and like collecting stuff, because like you're saying, there's some things you could build if you need to like really get over a little hump, but there is that sort of plateau, and then in Territory Idle it's specifically about your income, like your combined resource income. And so once you do that, that all converts to gold, and you sort of reinvest it in the machine. And then there's a whole, like, the game is like, you look at the reviews on Territory Idle, and someone's like, I've been playing for 600 hours and I'm still finding new mechanics. Like, it's just, it kind of goes on and on and on and on. So I think that this thing, though, is like maybe the gateway mechanic to get normal people interested in idle games, because, like you're saying, it's got this really nice loop of basically getting your engine to a certain point and then effectively like prestiging it, investing it in passive traits, and then doing it again. And I think that like obviously like the roguelike formula that inspires that sort of thing is like still popular, whatever. So that's cool. It's cool to see that thing happening in other games, because I think that it is a good idea.
And it does this interesting.
And I need to.
It is this interesting thing, and which maybe Territory Idle does as well, which is that when you do prestige, when you do start everything over again, since you have these talent trees available at your disposal that you didn't have before, you can go for a quote build and essentially try to approach the way that you're building things differently every time you kind of replay through the game. So there's this different flavor to it. It feels different. And I have Territory Idol gameplay going on the stream right now. But Norp Apolog, it's a bit more. There's more going on there visually, where you actually see the Norps doing stuff.
Looks like fucking garbage.
Yeah, this looks like a DOS game. It could be
like a PowerPoint game. Do you make like PowerPoint games?
Yeah. Norp Apolog is, there's like screensaver mode where you just have it. You could just like have it look at the Norps and what they're doing. Yeah, this is for those watching at home. The Norp Apolog. Did you beat
Norp?
I didn't beat it, actually. I didn't beat it. And one thing I will say about this game is because there's like levels of participation to this game, I think that's one of the strengths of the game. But it's also one of, weirdly, the weaknesses where if you really want an active game to be playing, it's not going to be the best. You got to play this game when you're doing something else, or you want to be like kind of tossing your attention elsewhere every once in a while, because the more you pay attention to it, the worse this game is, I think. Unless you are really good at like coming up with the strat and coming up with an optimal way of building stuff, because you're making decisions, depending on how well you have things set up. Sometimes it's like once every 2 minutes you'll click a button, but that's not ideal.
Yeah.
But then you're like, damn, maybe my stuff is like not optimal and I need to restart. But yeah. You're what?
I dig idle games. I think there's an idle game revolution just sort of like waiting to happen. And maybe Norp is the one that like breaks the seal.
I do think over the last decade or so, there's been some of the most interesting conversations have happened around idle games. So I do appreciate ones that bring something new to the table, and that's why I talked so much about Norp Apolog.
Well, I feel like history's also been sort of kind to like Cookie Clicker, and then especially like stuff like Universal Paperclips. I think like those games are remembered fondly, and then I think that there's no, like, I don't think anyone's gonna look back at like stupid Match 3 puzzle games on mobile and be like, man, those were the days or whatever. But I think that it's been long enough where people are like, hold on, like maybe there was something there. I think something with like the Vampire Survivor Z, like it's not an idle game, but it's not an idle game. I think that there's like definitely some overlap there that's maybe spurring the same thing. It's like a positive, I forget what it's called when two like waves are like in sync and they like get bigger. Positive destruct. I don't remember. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't remember what that's
good
called.
Good job, Norp.
Yeah. Dude, I also played Resident Evil 4.
The OG or the remake?
The remake.
Uh-huh.
Because it was getting so much talk in the end of the year discussions, and I was like, oh, I should play this because I like Resident Evil 4. And it's just like,
you're also real hot on the 2 remake.
I was, but this was like not good. Like it was just. I mean, it's like. Really? It's like Resident Evil 4, but worse.
How is it worse?
It's just made in the style of Resident Evil 2, which just makes it less interesting altogether. You know? Like, Resident Evil 4 was the shit. Like, maybe I have too many fond memories of Resident Evil 4. But, like, Resident Evil 4 was dripping with style, man. It was an action game. They changed it up. They switched the series, dude. It was like an arcade game. That was what was so cool. Even at the time, it was such a change of pace because, you would expect them to do something like a dark and gritty reboot type of thing, but they made it like bright and unserious, in a way that a lot of bright.
The 4 remake?
Yes. No. The OG 4. Like Resident Evil had been languishing before that, many would argue. I would personally argue. And 4 revitalized it because it brought so much different action. It brought like a different pacing. There was so much color in that game, and it was like not afraid to not take itself seriously. And to me, that was what was great about that game and really stuck out about it. And it's something that I feel like a lot of reboots just don't do still. Like a lot of reboots, they want to make it more serious or like live up to their original name. But I don't know, like this game doesn't capture that. It's just a good game. Whereas the original Resident Evil 4 was like a revolutionarily good game that was trying something that was like really unique and I still don't think has been matched. And this remake doesn't live up to that, which I wish it did. But it's still fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I think there was like an interesting sort of discussion that was happening on the internet like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't remember how long it was. Basically, people were looking at the sizes of game catalogs sort of across platforms, and the kind of like thing that large game publishers have noticed is that like Resident Evil 4 was on GameCube. Like that was what it was like 2006 maybe, maybe 4. I don't remember what year it came out. But dude, that's like 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
And they're like looking at Resident Evil 4 from 2 decades ago and saying like, hey, like we could probably redo this one. People like it. And so it's weird because like it like completely lacks the context of what made like Resident Evil 4 in situ in its time and space be so special. It's more just like, hey, like we have this stuff to do a Resident Evil game because we just did the 2 remake. Like we can do 4 now too. And like people are going to play it because they liked 4. And then also that's going to be like a force multiplier for new people to play 4. So it's weird. It's like all the back catalogs, I guess, just due in part to like, I don't know, technological affordances are able to be ported to new modern contexts. So all of a sudden it's like how long till Nintendo, I guess they're already sort of doing it. Like, are they ever going to re-release like Ocarina of Time and Unreal Engine 5? You know, like is that, there's no reason they shouldn't do that. But like, maybe they should because those are safer bets. So,
well, they did Paper Mario.
It's weird. They did do Paper Mario. That's true. That's not out yet though. But I am very hype about that game. Thousand Year Door is like one of my number 1 games of all time. So.
Oh, I was thinking Super Mario RPG actually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, why not? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played Resident Evil 4 remake. I don't really have any interest in playing it, but
it's not.
I'm glad it exists.
It's not a GOTY contender. It is not a GOTY contender in any universe, in my opinion.
It's just sad that it can be a GOTY contender. It's like this game is 2 decades old, man. Why is this? Why are we out here caring about this? This looks good. Oh man, Resident Evil 6. That was a dark time.
Yeah. Very, very dark for the series. Played some Slay.
Speaking of dark games, I was playing. Oh,
you go. There's like some massive desyncing going on. I wonder if it's with the wherever we're doing this, but
I don't know. Speaking of dark games, I was playing Alan Wake 2.
Oh, yes. Please tell me what you think about this game. I need to feel like I'm not going crazy. Or maybe I will.
I want to point people. I said it in the Bad End Discord. Let me find where it's at. The Crate & Crowbar podcast, episode 428, has a great discussion on Alan Wake that I think represents my feelings on it well, which is that like it's kind of bad. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
get like all the visual stuff, the effects, the like layering of multimedia stuff, awesome.
Hmm.
Really cool. Um like everything else outside of that is just sort of like grating and annoying. The one thing the Crate and Crowbar podcast mentions is that like Alan Wake like sucks as a character and it's like annoying that you have to deal with him all the time and sort of and the defense is like, oh, we're lampooning bad horror writers, and it's like, yeah, but that still means that I have to be with this person for a long time. Um, so that stuff is like annoying. I think the weirder thing is like a lot of the game like doesn't want you to think, but also wants you to think at the same time. It wants you to think that it's deep while also like never really allowing you any sort of space to think or process something without giving you something else kind of immediately without you having to think about it. And like a simple example is something I also brought up in the Discord chat where like this is like really early on in kind of the first area when you're playing a saga. You're in some cabin or something and need to find like a battery, right? It's like find these batteries. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I was like, well, this is a detective game, and I was just in a grocery store, like a dilapidated grocery store. I bet I can go find some batteries in the grocery store. And you go in the grocery store, and there's no batteries, despite there being like electronic shelves and
Oh, it was the
stuff, and like old
fuses, I
tools, and maybe
think.
there's actually batteries. The fuses, yeah. There's like stuff that looks like it would probably even be a fuse. Um, and then like I can't find them, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know where to find these fuses. Only for me to like, I ended up having to like go to a fucking like wiki to figure out where these fuses are at. And it turns out that it was like up a path from where this cabin was, where like someone was fishing, and inside of their like ice box they have fuses. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? That's where like, and that like really set a little bit of like the precedent for playing a lot of the rest of the game, where like you get in these situations where you're like, am I dumb, or is the game wanting to be, is the game dumb? And like another recent example was like the way you move through these worlds is like interesting because you're kind of like basically you're switching levels on the fly, which is like it's pretty amazing. Again, like the tech side of everything, incredible, awesome to see, worth playing for that alone. Um, but it gets you in this weird place where you get disoriented in the environments that you're in, and so you're like kind of like just trying every button to figure out how something is supposed to fit together. Only I got like lost in the subway tunnels because it turns out the way I was supposed to go. Actually, I took a picture of it. Let me see. I'm gonna try to hold it up to the screen.
Oh
Um,
God.
it's like the place that you had to go was this like gray ladder against a gray concrete background that you could just not see. And it's the only place to go, and it's like the back side of this path that unless you were um like looking to know that something was there, you like couldn't actually see it. Let me see. It's like it was egregious. Um, and there's like similar stuff too with like the Mind Palace, where like you kind of start and you're like, yeah, we're about to put up some strings and make some clues and put some ideas together, and like we're gonna make some deductions. But it's like, and I'm quoting the Crate and Crowbar podcast here, but it's sort of just like a glorified QuickTime event because like everything has a very specific place it's supposed to go, and you can't ever put something in the wrong place. And then once you put these things in this like Mind Palace board in the right place, you don't even really learn anything until you like go over to this other desk, and like some psychic entity just like tells you the answer to the next thing that you like wouldn't have been able to intuit in the first place. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
They're
I
like,
thought I
oh,
was a detective.
we
I
already
thought I was
figured
like,
this out, so we'll just put the pictures up.
yeah, like it doesn't like it's so weird because the game sort of like wants to be this cerebral detective puzzle game, but at the same time, it's still like such a brain off like AAA, you know, action adventure game. Which again, fucking the combat sucks. Like it's so bad. Like third person aiming and slow. It sucks. I even like
It sucks.
I was
It's
playing on
bad.
like standard difficulty and then I just dropped it down to like story because I was like, I do not like I'm not getting anything from dying to this enemy because it's hard to hit them in the head with your clunky control scheme. Like that doesn't make this game better for me.
Yeah.
Um
Highly advise doing that,
so it's just
by the
like
way.
okay, here I found the picture. I'm gonna hold up to my screen like a boomer. Okay, so like here's the it's you're gonna be able to see like barely. Okay, you're gonna see. Okay, so you can sort of see it. There's a ladder right here. There's like a little thing on the wall, and there's just like a ladder here. I don't know why it looks so black. I guess it's because it's sort of in shadow, but it looks about like that in the game. But there's a ladder there, and that's in the very back of this like path of the subway that you have to like go
I
up. It's
hate
just
that.
like
Hate it.
it's like why it's so like the experience of playing the game and like engaging with the game systems is just like tedious. Like Alan Wake just like sucks. It's like annoying to hear him monologue about stuff and like try to provide all this depth. But like the visuals are incredible. The just like vibing a saga around the town is like really cool. Like I think that's like that stuff is like really well done. Um all the mixed media stuff like super works. I think um, that stuff is super cool, but just the rest of the everything else around that is just like, ooh, like I want to go and play it, but I don't want to like play it, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
yeah,
exactly where I landed on it. And the problem only got worse as like the encounters started ramping up and becoming more demanding on my gamer reflexes.
yeah, and it's like it's not like there's something like Dark Souls where like beating an encounter is really part of the story where like doing well in this battle is like part of the narrative of what makes this thing happen. But like, why is Alan Wake shooting things in his dreams? Like, why is that even a thing? It doesn't matter. Like, we talked about this when you first talked about it on the podcast, like how many episodes ago, but it was just like, I just don't need any of the shooting. I don't need any of that. It's not adding anything. It's just making things tedious. I'd rather just like skip it all and be like, I don't know, take like a damage hit or something because it just doesn't
Yep.
matter.
Do you, let me ask you a question. Do you read like all of the stuff that they put in these games? Like emails and fucking notes and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm big on that.
All of them? You read every single one?
I think so. Is that there's not that much so far, unless I'm like, you mean just like the when they like give you like a new thing or whatever
No, like
to
when
like
you
read
go
or
on
look at.
someone's computer and they have like files on there and there's like a 5 email chain between two people.
Oh yeah, I read that shit. Oh yeah,
Is
yeah.
it worth it?
No,
Okay.
it's like it's the type of stuff that tells you what you already know, and then inevitably goes to some place in like the fifth email of the chain where it's like, hey Alan, you're reading this. Did you know that you're reading this? Am I in your mind? Is this all a story or is everybody a story? Like that's often where it goes.
That was a good
Um,
that was a good Alan Wake voice.
yeah. Hit me up, Sam Lake. Um, so yeah, it's like no, it's never worth it.
Yeah, I
None
figured.
of it is as near as cool as like walking under the tree and having the subways like geometry superimpose onto like that shit is like really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I did not play Control because I didn't have a PS4 at the time, and my PC is aging. But it does make me want to go back and play Control actually, just to experience more of that stuff.
I like
Uh,
it better in Control.
but yeah, You like it better in Control or
Slightly.
than Control?
I like it better in Control, personally. These experiments.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so that stuff is like sick, and it's like it's so hard because it's like really cool to explore like a visualized version of New York City in this like hazy, neon afterglow. But then you have to like do it while you listen to Alan Wake fucking bloviate about some bullshit. And like based on the Rock Paper Shotgun podcast, like it only gets worse. It sounds like they just keep adding new stuff in and don't actually like establish or solve answers. And so it sounds like they end up relying on the bulk of the things that they put in play to feel like it's meaningful, but don't actually like say anything to make anything meaningful.
Yeah.
um, so yeah. So TBD enough. I'm gonna keep playing it, but it's like, Rebecca and I sit down to watch something and do something on the TV, and we sort of both have to have buy-in, and both of us are like, I'm like, Alan Wake, and she's like, I don't know. Do you want to hear Alan Wake for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Um,
I did, sort of, but I did not like the Saga voice actress.
I
I
did
could
sort of it. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's so weird. It's also just a weird game, not because it's like weird in principle, but more like weird because it's like sort of in dialogue with itself and like Remedy in general. Like it's very like sort of self-referential. Like Alan Wake is emerging from this lake that he was trapped under after this for as long as since Alan Wake 1 came out. So it's like it's doing a lot of stuff in that area, which feels very like Stanley Parable core, like, edgy 16-year-old likes to point out and be like, this game is sick. But I'm not sure it amounts to much more than like just, I don't know, make a good story, maybe.
yeah.
That'd be cool. Um
We could start talking about some Game of the Year
so yeah.
stuff. But I don't. Do you want to maybe change back to the recording room? I feel like there's like a massive desyncing that makes it hard to like discuss.
You sound great to me. I'm just not watching the video. The video is laggy, but the audio sounds like it's right where it needs to be.
Oh, it just sounds like
Personally,
you're coming through like a few seconds late for me. I might be slow or something, but
maybe I'm slow and I'm just kind of spending more time to think before I say something.
oh, maybe. Well, you seem to be more synced now. Maybe it was just taking longer. Well, okay, so we can start talking about and Game of the Year stuff, because some of this, like, I played some more games so that I could have a better Game of the Year discussion. So we could talk about like some more of the games that I played in that context.
Sure.
Do you want to do GOTY some of our categories that we have from our listeners?
Oh yeah, let's see. We solicited. Oh yeah, we got some categories here.
Okay, so
good job.
So
listeners.
for the record, bad end every year for our Game of the Year podcast. We usually do these like just hand selected categories that are not really categories, but we've had listeners send in some categories this year. And Kyle, without further ado, do you want to lead us into some of these?
First one, we got most video game. Who was the most video game this year? I mean, my first thought is like Tears of the Kingdom is like such a video game, where we specifically remarked when Tears of the Kingdom came out, we were like, they made Breath of the Wild for gamers.
That's that was the angle of that game. And you know what's crazy is like how fucking hard that game fell off in like my
Dude,
psyche.
that game fell off so hard.
Like
Yeah.
it's so sad because when I was playing, I was like, "Damn, this is a great game." Now I just think about it, and I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" It's like a fever dream.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
okay,
you did blaze through Here's the Kingdom.
I think that's legit. I think maybe Super Mario Wonder.
That's pretty video gamey. Yeah.
It's definitely a video game, I would say.
That's like that's like if my grandma walked into a room and saw Super Mario Wonder, she'd be like, "That's a video game." She's like, "You can die. You
There's
got
levels.
lives. There's levels." Yeah. Oh, actually, another contender is Armored Core. That game is pretty fucking video gamey.
Yeah, yeah. And what's funny is that these all are pretty freaking good games. So maybe video games need to be more video
Yeah.
games.
I
So
think that's a lesson I have from 2023 is that games should be more gamey. Like, drop the pretension, give me some levels and some lives and a dude. Let me run around being a dude.
or like if you're gonna go
Or
for
a
the
lady.
pretension, like make that your whole thing, you know?
But don't do what Alan McTwo did.
But that
Uh,
yeah, that was a half measure. That's why it doesn't
I
work.
mean, Armored Core feels pretty video gamey. Like that game's got like very little non-video game in it. It's just kind of straight video game. It's just like it feels like you're playing like a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah.
You kind of pop in, you select your level, you
I
shoot
love
some
dude.
dudes,
I
you
love
pop
Armored
out,
Core. I love that
you
game.
buy weapons. Yeah.
It's
I
one of
think
my
that's the most
top.
video
It's one of
game for me.
my contenders for sure.
I'm gonna give the award to Armored Core. I think
For most video game.
it's fucking mechs, dude. What's
Yeah.
more video game
No,
than
I
just
agree.
fucking
I agree.
robots?
I'm in.
Yeah.
If you get a ranking
Okay,
that can be S, then that we're already done. The conversation's over.
that's true. Yeah, only game with S rank. Yeah,
Resident Evil had that too, but that's just a Resident Evil thing.
doesn't count. The game's 2 decades old. Worst open world.
I mean, open world games have kind of fallen off too.
I mean, Starfield feels like the
Oh
obvious
yeah, that's
answer.
probably. I played so little of that game that I feel like I can't say that, but I feel like I played so little of it that I can say that. Because if it was better, I would have played more.
Yeah. So in a way, you not playing it is you voting for it for this award.
Yeah, and for the record, I played it for like an hour and a half, and I was like, "This fucking sucks." I have no desire to play more of this. Let's see.
I think. I mean, that's the one I got. I'm looking at other like notable games from other. There is a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass Wave 4.
Hmm.
Who knows if that was good?
I played some of the OG Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It was like pretty good.
Was this year the year that you like played Final Fantasy 12 on like 6x speed mode?
No, I think that was
Or
like
was that last year?
last year or the year before. That game owns, dude. That's one of my favorite games ever. After that playthrough, I was like, this game is I severely underrated it the first time I
This is
played it.
it.
But it's only the 4x mode that is like especially good.
Yeah.
Because on regular gameplay speed, it's kind of excruciating, honestly. What other awards?
I'm gonna go Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield for sure.
Most cozy game of the year, with the caveat that says cozy to you, not Keeley show genre cozy. Like, what was your like warm blanket game?
Can I start this with a little spiel? We
Give me a story.
We
Give me a
have
story.
quietly undergone. Have actually tell me if I've already given this spiel on this show before, but I feel like we've quietly undergone a massive revolution in video games that we do not fucking talk about enough, which is cozy game revolution. Like, do people not understand that like this is a genre that like a lot of women feel comfortable saying they're like into cozy games? And it's like, how long have this been a thing that games have needed, and it fucking exists now? And it's like, we don't talk about it as if it's just like we just open the floodgates to an entirely new demographic of people by creating this experience essentially that like way more people are interested in than we ever thought could be interested in before. And now it exists. That's fucking amazing. And I feel like we don't talk about it enough.
I feel like it's talked about all the time.
But not like,
Personally.
I don't
There's a
think
whole
we've
cozy direct.
I don't think we've like digested it culturally as far as like, where are my fucking think pieces? I guess it happened after we stopped doing
I
think
think all the
pieces
think
as a
pieces
culture.
are people. It's true. Oh, I think also the people who would write think pieces are probably the ones who are ignoring the cozy genre. I think it's
Yeah.
like it's
That's
sort of
true.
like what you talk about with people never writing about like League or whatever, and it's because like none of the people that write about stuff are like playing League. I think there's like some stuff permeates like the cozy bubble, but there's like a ton of cozy games that do really well but no one talks about because that's like not part of the discourse.
Yeah. And it's like the discourse is just like, here's some cozy games to check out this winter. And it's like a Nintendo Switch
Check out these cozy games
in a bundle of blankets with like a cornucopia and like fall colors around it.
Yeah.
But that's a whole aesthetic that we've like never had in video games before. Like the cozy
But it's
PC
also funny 'cause,
setup.
like, but cozy games are like also mostly just farming games.
Yeah.
It's like cozy games are like LARPing manual labor games.
I mean, Animal Crossing is like sort of that, but there's also like the home design and dressing up and all that shit. But yeah, I agree, mechanically maybe not the most interesting, even though like some of the games like Animal Crossing are some of the best games that we've had like recently. But I just think it's cool. I want to just like put my foot down and say this is fucking amazing that this exists and that like it has this cultural cachet. Is that the correct term?
That's the correct word, Josh Calixto.
Cultural cachet. I just think it's cool, and I just want to call that out right now. Without further ado,
Who's the cozy game players? That's what I want to know. Does everyone play cozy? Is it if you're someone that plays cozy games, do you play all cozy games? Because the way I've sort of understood cozy games is that they're all kind of vying to be your cozy game. But it's not like if you're into cozy games, you play all cozy games.
I think
that's what I don't know.
What I've noticed is that there's like now cozy game influencers like on TikTok where it's like people who just literally introduce people to new cozy games.
But they're influencers though. But is the idea that they get people to play their cozy game?
No.
Like they're one cozy game.
No, they're a person and they're like, here's 10 new cozy games coming out in fall 2023 that you should check out. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of these people.
Well, what's your cozy game? What's your warm blanket game? Slay the Spire, obviously.
I mean, for me, that's a cozy ass game. That is the coziest. Like that's a warm blanket.
You just lock it in.
I'm just
Extension 20. Yeah.
We're playing some Slay the Spire tonight.
You just dial it.
That's my favorite game of all time now. It's just I want to see the graph of Slay the Spire in my estimation. Just watch it slowly go hyperbolic.
You You just look at how many times you talk about Slay the Spire in the Discord and just watch it increase over time.
It's actually
Josh,
insane.
for people who aren't in the Discord, has fully co-opted the board and card game channel to just talk about his Slay the Spire runs, which I let pass because it's sort of a board and card game. But the intention of the channel was that it was board and card games. And Josh is like, well, I got to talk about Slay the Spire somewhere.
It doesn't get that channel doesn't get used enough because I don't want to clog up Gamer Lounge with that.
We just make a channel that's just Josh talks about Slay the Spire.
STS updates.
We're gonna put it in the hot now zone just for you. Talk about Slay the Spire.
That channel will never die. I promise.
Yeah. Mine, I think this year was probably Bone Razor Minions. It was just like it's like my Steam Deck has just become a Vampire Survivors likes machine, and Bone Razor Minions was still the one that I think I probably played the most. Or I just like sat down and was like, I want to play something stupid. And that was the one. Halls of Torment had a good run. I also started playing Time Wasters. But Bone Razor Minions, it's just got the stuff. Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
That's my cozy game.
Because I like those games. I started playing Vampire Survivor on the Steam Deck recently, and I was like, this game's pretty fun.
Yeah. We got least video game.
Makes you think.
Like, did Sam Barlow put out a game this year? Least video game.
What was that Sam Barlow game?
The Last of Us on HBO.
That's a good one.
That's my answer.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, next one. I mean the classic bad end award. We'll save this one till the end, so I'm gonna skip that one. Jack of all trades, master of none category for the game that tried to do the most and failed at all of it. I mean, Alan Wake for me comes real close.
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Minus all the visual stuff. Minus like all the visual stuff that they knock out of the park. I mean, Starfield's also got a running in there.
I think it has to be Alan Wake.
But Alan Wake's got some good stuff. Starfield, like, it just feels like an old game, and it came out in 2024. It's like, what did Starfield do better than any game that came before it for what it was trying to do? I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, neither of us played Final Fantasy 16, huh?
I did not.
Damn. Not that many games tried to do a lot. And I think that's the only reason why Alan Wake comes up, which is also why it feels unfair to give that award to Alan Wake.
Yeah.
Reward being a kind of generous description of what this is. Like, there was no real jack of all trades game.
I mean, that's why I go to Starfield. That game was really swinging for the fences.
Or it could be like Dave the Diver. You know? That game is trying to do a lot, but it's not like... It's not quite what you want it to be when you zoom out all the way. I think for me, it's Dave the Diver. Locked in.
I'll do it. I'll press the button for Dave the Diver. I didn't play Dave the Diver, but I'll press the button for it.
All right.
Fastest time to skeleton. This was a bad end original of this year, which is basically the time it takes you to boot up a game and start hacking at stuff. And I'm gonna go and put it out there. Diablo 4, pretty good time to skeleton. I was actually looking at games that came out this year, and my first thought was like, "Damn, I really like Diablo 4, and I want to play more of that."
Halls of Torment in the same vein.
It's true, and it does start with skeletons.
Yeah.
Halls of Torment could be there. Bone Razor Minions, pretty short time to skeleton. Although the Balatro demo, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You just get in there, you just start playing poker.
That's true.
There's no, you just get in there. Time to skeleton is becoming a more and more of a metric for me in my mind about what I want to spend my time doing, which is why it's hard to pick up Alan Wake 2, which has like the longest time to skeleton.
Yeah. Like
For,
in the most literal way, where it's like I have to shoot this guy 30 times for anything to happen.
Best game you'll never finish, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm never going to play that game. I'm sure it's good.
I will finish it.
I work at a computer all day, and I make video games. The last thing I want to do at the end of my day is sit at my computer and play Baldur's Gate 3.
I will buy into this as
don't want to play that game on a console.
Best game that one would probably never finish, even if I do personally, which I haven't yet, by the way, but I plan to. It'll happen like in 2026.
Baldur's Gate 3 is just so interesting because it's like, why would I play that game? Like I'm not like sold on that as like as a single individual entity. The pitch is like, it's a really well realized Dungeons and Dragons CRPG game, and I'm like, yeah. And
I mean,
I'm a smart enough person where I could play like the old Pathfinder CRPGs or like whatever else and be like, oh, this is pretty close, but like going that last 20% to make it 100% like D&D doesn't feel like it's going to add a commiserate amount of fun. Like I don't think that Planescape Torment is like less fun because it's not exactly D&D. And so Baldur's Gate 3, I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure it's good.
The possibility space is just really, I think it's just cool to have like a similar possibility space to D&D in a video game.
But I feel like you'd like try that shit like 4 times and you're like, cool. It's like the same thing in Dark Souls where it's like, oh, I could kill any NPC. And then you like maybe do it once and you're like, okay, like whatever. It's like, it's more tedious to do the like stack the boxes on top of each other to jump into the castle. And you're going to miss, 10 hours of interesting content along the way.
I think it's more
I think part of it is that I find the D&D like world setting just to be like boring. It's like trad fantasy, like whatever.
Yes.
I think that if it was a different setting, I'd be more interested.
Yeah. I think at a general level, D&D has had a big resurgence in the past couple of years. And that's another reason why this has been such a hit. But I personally liked the possibility space stuff. And as someone who does not like to take the lesser walked path, I felt like there was a lot of paths in this that were lesser chosen that I ended up taking because there's so many decisions you're presented with, and they paid off. They were still interesting. It didn't feel like something I wasn't supposed to be doing. But
you know what? Maybe Josh, I'm going to get a controller. I'm going to play it on the PS5 and it'll be a cozy game for me. Just play a little. I think about a lot of like Tim Rogers' review of Dragon Quest
11? Probably 11.
Is that the one that
yeah,
was 11?
I believe
11
so.
was the one that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
He's like, you just, every night you just play like an hour of Dragon Quest with a cup of tea. You just do that I never finished that game, but I've been really itching to go back to Dragon Quest
That
11 and
game
just
owns. I love that
cuddle
game.
up at night. It's just chill. You just get in there and it's fun. In Baldur's Gate 3, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's cool. I don't know.
It's a hard one to get back into. I think
Uh,
that's another downside where it's like,
yeah.
oh, I don't know if I want to pick that
Yeah,
game
you
up
gotta
again.
commit.
I'm a
You
little
just
afraid.
commit for a
Yeah.
fucking time.
If you drop it for more than 3 days, you
Uh,
might be off the train forever, buddy.
in response to the worst open world, we have the openest world. I mean, Baldur's Gate
Baldur's
3.
Gate 3.
Is that
That's got to be the openest world.
the most openest world?
I mean, Zelda is more opener as a world, but Baldur's Gate
That'd be a
3
good open.
has more
But Zelda's got
possibilities.
the machines. There's nothing like that in Baldur's Gate 3. Like, you can just build like death airplanes and Tears of the Kingdom.
That's true.
You know what I found out recently, speaking of openest world and possibility, is that there's actually an Excel esports championship.
Yeah.
Did you know this?
YouTube has been trying to make me watch that shit for like the last 2 weeks. And I refuse.
That's probably how I found it. I was like, hell yeah. So I think that Excel, Microsoft Excel is probably the most openest world. You could do anything in there. You can build a Fortune 500 company. You can defraud your investors.
This is this is a dark
plan
path.
Your big day.
This is a dark path I
Yeah.
don't want to walk down.
Yeah. I mean, Excel's got it. Best game to lose.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Dope question.
Hmm.
Or dope category.
Balatro demo. It feels when you lose, you're like, yeah. But it felt so close. And you know what's nice about losing is you get a fresh slate right afterwards.
Yeah, it's like I tried something, didn't work out, but we get to try again, baby.
We get to get right back in there.
We get to try something new. I'm into that. I'll buy it.
Next category. Best poker roguelike. Balatro demo. Again, right there. It's just it's easy. I don't know what the other answer would be.
Who said best poker?
Jump list.
Oh god.
Noted mega gamer of the Bad End Discord.
Shouts out to Jump List, man. That's the most impressive
Shouts out to
gamer
Jump List.
I've ever met. Have you ever met Jump List in real life?
No, but I remember reading something that Jump List said on the Discord. He was like, you know what? I just decided that video games are the thing I want to dedicate my life to. I think he has a partner, but he was like, my life is about exploring video games to their fullest. And no one will make you feel like less of a gamer than Jump List.
Jump List just has
dang.
very
The most gamer.
systematic view of video games, and I love that because it's like also a very specific taste. Like there are noted gamery things that are like that Jump List is simply not into because Jump List is about the systems and like this very like concrete qualitative approach to systems while also being chill about it too. Like shouts out Jump List. Also shouts out Devin. You posted Imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade. I saw it and I totally agree. Shouts out to Devin for being the only other person to fuck with Imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade except for me. Anyway. What else?
Best video game that isn't really a game and doesn't have a lot of video.
And does not have a lot of video?
I mean, my GOTY for 2022 was using Midjourney. So I would once again say that the best video game this year that's not really a game and has no video is probably Mid Journey again.
I mean, in that same
That
vein,
shit's too fun, man.
speed running Soldier Boy
Speedrunning.
crank that beat. Have you seen those?
Yeah. I just saw one that was like a cut, and I didn't know if this was the only person that ever did it as a meme or other people also do it.
People have started just taking it seriously. And I think it's just cool that speedrunning culture has turned into this thing where it's just like people are speedrunning Excel, they're speedrunning fucking Soldier Boy.
Dude, I think this is a thought I've had over the past like year was this is like a sort of a sociological, socio-techno point, but like I think that we've been sort of conditioned to think of social networks as these like giant platforms that you participate on, that you kind of work by their rules. But humans are like smart people and creative. And I love this like ad hoc social networky meme creation thing where people just kind of like find each other in ways that feels more pure to the spirit of a social network. The first example being my wife is from like the Midwest, and there's this like recipe called what is it called? It's called like cheese pizza. Is that what it's called? I know that sounds dumb. Um, but it's like it's called cheese pizza, and it's basically you sort of make a pizza, but you like only cook the cheese and you just like put raw cut vegetables on top of the cheese, but the crust is like this Pillsbury dough crust. Yeah, it's fucking weird. Oh, and like you put ranch on it. I think someone in the chat is actually from the Midwest and could probably elaborate uh, on what cheese pizza is. But like, we were looking it up to figure out like the recipe for this because we were like, what the fuck? And Pillsbury has the recipe for cheese pizza on their website, and they have a comment section, and the comment section is just like grandmas talking to each other, being excited about sharing this recipe. That's like, they're like, oh, I take this to the VFW like every Friday, and all they all love it. Or someone's like, my grandma made this for me. Or someone's like, this is always a hit on Sundays at card night. That shit I love. It's just like those people don't need Facebook, they don't need Instagram, they don't need shit. They've just got the comment section on the Pillsbury Dough like website for cheese pizza, and like that's all they need. Like all you need is like the Soldier Boy, like the idea of doing a Soldier Boy speed run, and then like the like thirst for content crossed with like the novelty. It's just like sure, let's do it. Or like I've been into recently this guy on Instagram that races Hot Wheels cars. You probably got recommended him too, I feel like. But he like puts Hot Wheels cars on a track and then basically races them down the same track. And each race is like, I don't know, it's like 20
I've
seconds
seen
long.
that, yeah.
But then like the car that wins does the next race. And it's like the comment section of that, it's on Instagram, but like the comment section of those races are like its own like social network sort of at the same time, where it's just people who are like excited about this thing, and like everyone sort of treats it more seriously than the actually is. I love that shit. That's like my favorite. That's like we talked about like the doubloons thing on TikTok a while ago. Like that's the fucking future, man. Like that's where it's happening.
I'm trying to think of other situations where I've seen that, but I can't off the top of my head. You know what's a good game to lose?
Oh no, sorry, Josh, I got you. It's called Veggie Pizza.
Jeez,
we got some Midwest.
I was like, damn, they didn't get like a copyright strike for that.
Yeah, dude, here I got the site right here. Veggie Pizza on Pillsbury.com. Oh, it's
this
so
is
good. Okay,
fucking.
I'm gonna post this in the chat. It's real good.
Sacrilege. I got a video playing. Veggie pizza, huh? Is there Philadelphia cream cheese on it?
Yeah. But the best part is that this pizza like sucks. It is not a good thing to eat, and it is like not healthy. Like you look at you, you gotta look at the picture where they're just putting like uncooked slices of cucumber and carrot on top of cream cheese on Pillsbury crust. Like it's not a good thing to eat.
Wait, are they not going to
So
cook
you have these
this?
people who are like,
They don't cook this?
no, that doesn't get cooked, dude.
What
They
is
don't cook it,
wrong
man.
with
They don't
these
cook it, man.
people?
I know, dude. They don't cook it.
I was like,
And
there's
the best
this.
part-
Is there a part 2?
You don't cook it, bro. You don't cook it. You don't cook it. You cook the dough. The dough is cooked, to be clear, but you do not put the vegetables in an oven to cook them. They are raw as fucking. They came out the ground, which is incredible. And the best part is that, like, in the comment section, there's always people that are clearly like veggie pizza pilled, who are like,
This is
the
my
best
favorite
thing. And
veggie
then
pizza
there's,
recipe.
Like, there's like people. There's people who have like rated the recipe 1 star, and they're like, "This is disgusting. What the hell is this?"
This is crazy.
They're like, "This is not a recipe. This is just raw vegetables on cream cheese."
On the Pillsbury site, they tell you to bake the crust and then put the stuff on it, which looks marginally more
Oh, you want to
appetizing.
cook the vegetables.
No, they don't cook the veggies. They cook the crust first. This chick does not cook the crust.
Yeah.
It's raw dough. Well, I mean, I guess Pillsbury
Someone
dough.
says, "I have made this for 20 years. Always a hit, even with the guys, and that is no easy task."
Who
says
the
Gail.
fuck? That's the most Midwest shit I've ever heard. This is like, sorry to generalize here, but when I was living in the Midwest, I like started hearing this like, oh, even the boys love it. It's like, I never heard that growing up. I never had this like, I've never heard this like,
Culture wars
the guys
happen
are
in
supposed to
the
be
comment
picky about everything they eat. Is that a thing? Like, what fucking country? Like, where do you live? I was like,
Someone's name in the Pillsbury comment section is "I cook for Morty" with the number 4. And first sentence says, "I made this for Morty and it was a huge hit."
this is
Morty was about
crazy.
to flip if it wasn't good.
Oh no, my Midwest mom
This is the
life.
full-
I'm sorry, but this is crazy. Someone commented, "Great stuff. I wish there were more women like you in my generation." What generation are you?
That's what I'm saying, dude. You don't need Facebook for this to happen, man. The Pillsbury
This
comment
is
section's got it dialed in.
crazy. Y'all need Jesus. Y'all need ovens.
There's so many comments, dude. It just keeps going.
That's nuts.
Anyways, veggie pizza.
Ugh.
Okay, other games categories.
Wow.
Favorite video game you didn't play at all, but you like it. Favorite game you didn't play, but you like it.
This is like a good
I'm gonna go with-
good but not for me. Also category.
I
Cool,
feel like
but
I'm
not for
like
me.
the Yakuza games. It seems like those games are really cool.
They are.
Shout out to whoever's playing the Yakuza games. But that's just like over there.
yeah.
It feels like I have to change the kind of person I am in my life to start playing the Yakuza games.
Yeah. I played Like a Dragon. Yakuza, or I guess they just call it Like a Dragon now. But that was a cool game. But yeah, I feel like it's like once you played some of one, you kind of get the idea. Thirsty
I don't remember if it was
Suitors.
Jacob Geller or someone else. Oh yeah.
That's one that I haven't played, but I feel like if I played it, it would be worse.
I got a contentious one. You ready for this one, Josh?
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too.
That game looks pretty good.
It's
I'm
like
that game looks good. That game looks like what I want from a Harry Potter game.
I'm curious about it, but I don't want to support it necessarily, but it seems pretty cool. I also just like,
It seems pretty cool.
I feel like I would have heard more about it if it was really good. Like if people were saying like,
think
yo,
there was
this
like
game is good. I might have tried it.
I think like the negative press. This sounds like so like woke mob tinfoil, but like I think the people who write the games press stuff that would crown winners were very aware of like the cloud of shit around that game that they don't want to touch it at all. Like just based on like pure numbers, that game has done so well and is rated so well. Like it feels like a incredible omission uh, for it to not to be included if it wasn't for the like again cloud of shit around that game.
Just for
Which
me,
is fine. I'm not
also
saying that it
like
should be.
I don't. There's like so many random ideas floating around in my head where it's just like J.K. Rowling is a transphobe and a fucking weirdo. Obviously. I don't like, did she have any say in what this game was? Like, did she fucking make this game?
Well, it's also like, but it was like the game director like ran like a like alt-right YouTube channel like, unapologetically.
I mean, we played The Witcher, like GOG and CD Projekt Red have multiple like just like terrible people working for them. Yeah, I'm not saying like I think it's a legit to not buy the game for that reason, but I also don't think you're like a bad person for fucking buying Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I think it'll be acceptable to play and buy Hogwarts Legacy like in 2 years. You can play it when it's like a $5 sale.
Yeah.
But dude, that game is like, I think if the people were to vote, that game would be like number 1 of the year.
I think that happened
voting,
in some
Steam Awards.
Yeah, in some things it won. Steam Awards, Baldur's Gate won the GOTY award.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate has been the big one this year, the heavy hitter.
Fucking Sifu came out.
Veggie pizza like just derailed my whole year. Like legitimately.
Veggies aren't cooked, dude.
Oh, I want to go back. Best game to lose. Balatro, yes, but best game to watch people lose. Only Up. I don't know if you were there for the whole Only Up phenomenon.
Oh.
But that was fun. I liked watching people fall in that game.
But I played actually the most Only Up I played was the like mods in Fortnite.
Oh God.
Oh, actually, which reminds me, one of the best open worlds, or openest world, dude. The Lego Fortnite game is really fucking good. I don't know if you've tried it out yet?
I have. Yet is a strong word.
It's really good. Yeah.
Game that tried too hard to win an award. Man, do we have Game Award bait? Now that the Game Awards are like such a big deal.
That's just what that is. Game Award bait would be Alan Wake 2. Like Jeff Keighley was like in line to like be like, yo, can I get in this game? Or it's gonna be like whatever Kojima's working on next. It's already trying too hard now by virtue of the fact that like Kojima got more time to talk about his game that was upcoming than like people who won like best video game got to be on stage to like say thank you.
We didn't have an Unravel this year, though, which I feel like is the most Oscar bait type game.
I feel like there was something like what's most cloying AAA game of 2023?
Can't.
I mean, I would say Chia.
Yeah, but it just wasn't.
I know, it's different.
I didn't play Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh, you know what it is? Josh? It's Jasant.
I only played the demo. I could see it. Everybody around us is saying it's pretty boring. Or like, is there something else here? Question mark.
There's just not.
Just
I feel like that's the one. That's like the tried really hard to win an award.
I could see it.
Um, least scrutable game. Alan Wake 2.
What's scrutable?
What's it
Like,
doing?
what do we mean by scrutable here?
Like the opposite of. Well,
Inscrutable?
least scrutable sounds like most inscrutable.
Capable of being understood by careful study or investigation.
Yeah, it's like
Most
inscrutable.
inscrutable.
Alan Wake 2.
I don't find that game to
Actually,
be
you know
that
what? Another good.
inscrutable.
I know it's not. It's not. I played I mean, I say decent, but it was like a few hours of Moon Ring. Did this come across your radar?
What's that?
It's just like sort of more traditional roguelike. It's really good.
Oh
It's
man, I
definitely
just
like
had it.
scrutable, but it sort of appears like inscrutable. It's kind of like a traditional roguelike that's got all these like cool systems and like world and shit. But it's free. Yeah. Doesn't really make sense why it's free. Because it's really good. And it's clearly like it should be money. And the story about it was that it was made by one of the people that like made Fable.
Honkai Star Rail.
So yeah, weird. Oh yeah, dude, any gotcha game. Oh man, fucking here we go. Talking about mobile games. Reverse 1999. Who knows what's going on in that game? That's pretty inscrutable. I got a whole list of them. Honkai Star Rail. Dude, the crazy thing about these games is that you load them up and they just sort of expect you to already know like all the weird gotcha shit. Dislight, all these things, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
in there.
there's a very low level of scrutability on all those. I'm
Dude,
looking
this
at
is
like
saying
some
you've been
top
playing
games of the
gotcha.
years, and I'm seeing like so many games I don't remember came out this year.
I mean, we got two more, and then we can get to our category of
Okay,
the year.
all right, let's go.
Best fit on the podcast. I feel like it's Josh. I don't think I'm a good runner for best fit.
I
And
don't
Josh
even
is
remember
working
what
out.
fits that I had this year. What fits?
One thing
I'm
that
wearing
happened
my
when I
Metal
was a
Gear
kid
Rising
was that every
Revengeance shirt.
a once I had a kid, I just stopped wearing like clothing that's not like t-shirts because they're just like gross boogers, babies, and like everything I wear just gets dirty.
They don't care
So I
what
just
you
wear like
wear.
dark t-shirts all the time. No, kids don't care, but it's more like I don't want to wear a nice like button up or something only for them to like put a crayon on it.
Yeah, or puke on it, etc.
Game most likely to get remade in 8 years. Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Honestly,
Please,
like maybe though.
I could see it.
Uh, Last of Us 2 remastered.
Maybe like Lies of P will become a cult classic, and then they'll remake it. They'll be like, oh
Dude,
wow.
let's fucking talk about Lies of P, bro. Can we talk about Lies
I
of P
haven't
for a
played
second?
it.
This is the other game I've been playing. We're so deep in the podcast now. Dude, Lies of P is pretty fucking good. Okay?
What? How?
It's like it's it's like Bloodborne, but more actiony. Like it's the thing about it is that it feels like the team like did their fucking homework to understand like what made a Souls game be a Souls game, and then like for whatever reason decided to use like the Pinocchio IP, so to speak,
Because it's public domain,
and
right?
made it like yeah, and made it like grim and dark, and it just kind of works. Like the theme and the setting. The name is fucking stupid. Every night I say that I'm gonna go pee, or that I gotta touch my pee organ, or that like it's just that part. But the thing is that like the game sort of like knows it's being stupid, um, but like it's not so. I don't know how to describe this. It's like sort of self-aware of how silly it is on one hand, but the other hand is like sort of actually iterating on the Dark Souls formula in a meaningful way, where it actually feels like a midpoint between like a Sekiro and a Bloodborne, because there's a much stronger emphasis on parrying like attacks, but also you don't have shields. But also like you don't really get the same thing you get in Dark Souls, where you it's a lot harder in Lies of P to like dodge roll through attacks. So you've got to be like up in people's shit like way more. Um, and it gives like the battles this like really kinetic energy that feels like it feels like a mix between Bloodborne and Sekiro, honestly. Um, and like it's good.
You're
And it like I'm
making me
playing it on
want to play
PS5
this
and it like
game
looks
now.
good and it runs well. Dude, I seriously the only reason I picked it up was because Jacob Geller said he liked it, and then I was like, cool, Liza P could be cool. And then I went to go buy Prince of Persia, only to find out that it's not out till Friday. And I was just had some money burning a hole in my pocket, and I was like, Liza P's on sale. I'll try this. I like Souls games, and like it starts out kind of weak, but once it kind of hits its flow, you're like, hell
What that P do?
yeah.
What that
What the
P
P
do?
do. And the thing too is like I really can't emphasize like they did their homework. Like there are Dark Souls y things or just Souls game ish things in here that are like very well observed. And on top of that, like the way the levels like interlock and stuff is like very Bloodborne-y. Um, it's like it's pretty good, man. Like I'm like legitimately surprised uh that I'm enjoying it as much as I am. And also like Bloodborne, it's sort of like got this dual layered story. So like I don't know where it necessarily goes, but it, Bloodborne is sort of ostensibly about uh like hunters hunting down beasts or whatever. But then like the longer you play, the more you realize there's some like eldritch horror shit going on.
Yeah.
Lies of P is sort of similar, where like it's ostensibly about this like all the puppets went crazy, but then like you start to realize there's this like disease that's like corrupting people and making their heads like turn into monsters shit, and like I'm just like fighting fucking monsters now. They're not even puppets. Um yeah, dude, I it's pretty good. like I'm like really
You're
surprised
kind of
that
selling
like
me on Liza P right now.
it I know.
You're a P
I didn't
peddler.
think I'd be a believer. I know. Um, it's also long
P
too.
leaf.
Like I sort of it felt like it was like a short little thing, kind of as I was playing it. But then I was like looking something up, and I'm on chapter like 4, which has probably taken me I don't know 4 or 5 hours maybe. But there's like at least 11 chapters, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of game here. Um, the thing that's like worth saying about it though that I think is an interesting topic is like I think if you didn't know how to play Souls games, like Liza P would be so fucking hard. Um, and so it's weird to think that like either they did that and didn't care, or that the audience for Souls games is so big that um they can rely on those people going to play it. Uh, because like the game does like kind of onboard you a little bit, but like I think the thing that makes Bloodborne sort of work is that if you've played previous Souls games, you understand enough about how enemies move to understand like, okay, I have no shield, but like I understand movement and I can kind of deal with
Right.
that. But Lies of P is like not a Souls game, like on its cover, and you really have to know like how to play Dark Souls to understand how to be aggressive in this type of game, um, which is like interesting. I don't know. It's like Dark Souls 1 comparatively much easier than Lies of P. Um, Lies of P is like your standard mob will fucking deck you in like 3 hits, uh, like without sweating. Um, and they're not even like the initial enemies are pretty small, so it's kind of hard to like read their attacks and whatever. Um, so it's weird. It's like weird to play a game that's by a smaller studio, or at least a studio that doesn't have like the FromSoft lineage, who's then trying to make a game that appeals to those people. Um, and then calling it fucking Lies of P, like that part's stupid.
It's beyond my
But
imagination.
if you like Souls games, you should play Lies of P. It's the
Fine.
most Bloodborne game that I've played.
Since Bloodborne.
It's like definitely like since Bloodborne. It's like better than Dark Souls 2, I think. Which is like the worst Souls game, but at least it charts up there with them.
Okay. All right.
Get your P organ activated, buddy. Did Lies of P come out in 20?
Yeah, I did. It's this year.
When did Lies of? Oh shit! Maybe Lies of P is my fucking goatee.
Don't say it. Don't fucking say it.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But like maybe it is.
It could be. Oh yeah, that came out.
Oh yeah, that came out. Our final category.
I've been finding a few.
I mean, like Tears of the Kingdom, that's definitely on the short list.
I think that was an early year game. Okay, but I got some crazy ones, okay?
Let me hit you with some. Hey, go ahead and hit me. Hit me with what you got.
The Talos Principle 2.
I knew
that
came out.
I haven't heard anything about that game.
That came out.
Amnesia the Bunker. That came out.
Oh yeah, that came out.
Mm-hmm. Humanity. That came out. I really want to play that game.
Oh yeah.
That's one that like I really regret.
A lot of buzz in the chat and Discord.
Oh, it's on PC? Yeah. What the fuck?
They got that on the personal computer?
They got it on the PC.
I got one for you.
Hit me.
Redfall.
Oh yeah, that came out.
Remember that?
That came out.
There was like the 1-2 punch of what was it? It was like Redfall and some other game came out like 2 weeks apart and just like totally tanked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Wild Hearts.
Redfall feels like I don't know what that is.
I still don't actually really know what Redfall is.
I don't know if Redfall knows what Redfall is. It's probably the issue.
Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. Supposed to be a good game.
Chibi one?
Yeah. It's on Switch. Cozy game. Alleged cozy game. Seems good. A Telltale game came out this year.
What?
The Expanse. That came out. You may be surprised to learn. Josh, I promise you'll be pushing P before you know it. I've been pushing P since day one, my guy.
Yeah, a lot of Lies of P love in the chat.
Yeah, a lot
Someone
of people
says, I feel like
love
every single
liking
person
this
who's played
game.
Lies of P has said the exact phrase, dude, Lies of P is actually good. Lies of P was a game that I begrudgingly tried, but turned out to be a banger.
Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew. What is this?
Oh
You know
yeah,
anything
dude.
about this?
That was the game by yeah, me. That's like the really cool like CRPG thing by the Shadow Tactics people. And they released that game and then shut the studio down like right
Oh,
afterwards.
God. Stray Gods,
Yeah,
the
that game is
role-playing
sick.
musical. You heard of this?
What? No.
Musical
I
sequences.
feel like it's Redfall. It's like Redfall or it's like Starfield.
Starfield is like one of the biggest releases. Like, I get that it fell off a lot of people's radar, but I remember Starfall. Despite remembering it as a catastrophic failure, I do remember that game.
Dude, who's playing like I do not hear even like my all like the Bethesda heads.
Oh, God. We've lost Kyle. Hello? Good Lord, what just happened? Hello? Kyle?
I was just talking.
Hello? Is your computer
there?
good?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Weird.
Recording.
Weird.
Um,
You turn on that cam.
I'm back. I just saw one which was where'd it go? Ghostwire Tokyo.
That wasn't this year.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. No, it was not.
April 12th, baby.
It might have been like they just. I feel like this happens every year where it's like a game came out 2 years ago, but like they released it on PC this year.
You're right. That hits around like January, February, March. Oh, dude, you know what came out this year?
What?
Atomic Heart.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. No way.
It did it?
I think it was
I
last
think it
year.
did. I don't know. Damn it, you're right.
Wait, I think they might have released like the like it might have released like I'm actually seeing February 21st, 2023. But I think they released
It won an award for
they released it like a couple months early or something like that. But I do think it might be a 2023 game. I think you're right. That's crazy. Weird. I think. Oh yeah, that.
Oh wait. Forspoken?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
the
dude,
winner.
that one
dude.
did come out this year.
That's that one's real. I actually just completely forgot that one. I forgot that game even with discussing games that we forgot came out this
You
year.
could tell me Forspoken came out, and I'm like, that didn't come out. That game doesn't exist.
Yeah. I could look at the Wikipedia page and still not believe it. Okay, yeah.
Josh, what's your GOTY of 2023?
Okay, for me it's between Armored Core 6 and Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. And I can't decide.
I feel like that doesn't count.
It used to be
Cyberpunk shouldn't count.
it's DLC. It's a whole new experience. Like it's like a 12-hour story bit with Idris Elba in it.
But at what point does a patch? When does a patch become a game of the year, Josh? Have your standards drop so low
I mean,
that a mere patch?
Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom's in consideration.
It's a patch. I'm thinking back to what I enjoyed in 2023. Knowing that Lies of P came out in 2023 does make me consider it. I also, dude, I enjoyed a lot of what I played at Diablo 4.
It's nowhere near.
There's a lot of like.
It's nowhere near like that
gamer hate.
That part of the list for me.
I feel like for me, it's like I dug it. But game of the year?
I was honestly okay. So Baldur's Gate 3, I felt when I was playing it, and even now, I feel like it's doing the most. I feel like it may be the best game of the year. But
yeah, like on the books.
For me, like Armored Core 6 is just like what I want games to be more. And
just like dumb PS2 games.
It's not dumb. It's so smart. Read my essay on it for bullet points. Like I just think it's like all the story stuff going on in there is like really good FromSoft stuff and some of like their best storytelling. I think thematically, like there's a lot more complexity there than we see in video games, period. And probably more thematically complex than what I saw in Baldur's Gate 3 in some ways. There's just like a lot of nuance to the way that the story is told. And I really like that. And it's fun. And it's compact. And there's levels.
It feels a little too one beat for me to think about it as game of the year, personally. I should play more of it though. I feel like I would probably give it to like
Fair.
Baldur's Gate 3, having not played Baldur's Gate 3. But also I'm like, I did really like the Ballstro demo.
Yeah, but it's okay. If you're not gonna let Cyberpunk be here, you can't let a demo be here. And Ballstro demo is like that's a fucking demo. Like it's not even like a game where they just they tacked on demo after. It's like there's clearly like 3/4 of the game. They're not letting you play most of the game here. And I will say the site like
I don't know if I have a game of the year. That might be my my take.
I think that's legit.
The year felt like a victory lap for what was, you know? It's like everything was the best version of something that existed before. Like Diablo 4 is like the best ARPG. Baldur's Gate is like the best RPG. Tears of the Kingdom is the best like action adventure game. Starfield, I guess, is the best like Bethesda open world. But it doesn't necessarily feel game of the year-y because it's like, oh, you're just doing a better job of what we already knew sort of worked.
Yeah.
Even Lies of P maybe it's like you're just kind of making Bloodborne again. And I love playing Bloodborne. So I love playing Lies of P, but game of the year? I don't know.
I want to say that my personal game of the year is AC6.
Okay.
And I'm down to say like Baldur's Gate is like the bad end game of the year asterisk. Asterisk
would,
being like we
I
don't
could put my
actually
hat on.
have a game of the year.
I could also I could also put it on AC6 asterisk being probably being like this was probably the best game. But also like Diablo 4 man is pretty good. I really liked that.
I cannot like
But
I would not allow this. Like I cannot
I'm not gonna say
ethically.
Diablo 4 is bad ends game. I think bad ends game of the year feels like it's Armored Core. Maybe Liza P comes in with the secret
Honorable mention.
honorable mention after Josh gets his P organ going.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe we'll talk about that next ep. Okay.
I feel like consensus around these parts is like AC6 is the one.
Ship it. I think that's
Ship it.
it's a great game of the year pick for sure.
Yeah. I feel good about that one. Just like someone points out that we did Oberdin over Red Dead 2, which I still stand behind because Oberdin fucking sick. Red Dead 2 forgotten.
That's a great choice. It's a great choice. I mean, I like Red Dead 2 still. Like I liked Red Dead at the time. And it was like a close one. But I like that we picked Oberdin.
Yeah. AC6 feels in line with our value system at Bad End HQ on Superculture Boulevard.
I agree. Yeah. There you go. There you have it, folks. Bad Ends Game of the Year. It's been selected.
There's
locked in.
There's a done coming under. You know, we're not that far out from 2023.
17 days.
Also, I want to talk to the maniac that's like played all the like GOTYs. This 2023 was also just a year for fuck huge games, man. I never felt like less of a gamer than seeing something like Baldur's Gate and just getting tired. Just like looking at How Long to Beat, being like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's like we didn't even talk about Final Fantasy 16.
Oh my god.
Tears of the Kingdom obviously was absurdly big.
Yeah.
That Spider-Man game.
Rebecca's
really
been
like
playing
that.
a lot of Tears of the Kingdom.
Have you been
Yeah.
watching?
Yeah, when she plays, I watch a fair bit. It's good.
Yeah. It's
I'm
fun
just
to
not
watch
sure it's
too.
what I want.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is such a vibe. You're just like, yeah.
You know what? I just want to just
All right. Well,
I'm sad we didn't like
tell me.
I'm sad Super Mario Wonder didn't like do more. Like it's still really good. Like I actually think it's a good game.
Yeah. It's a game I most played to completion, but like I feel like my thoughts about it are like, yeah.
It is what it is. You know, you
I
get
feel
what
like
you
I want them to put out like a real banging expansion pack for that game. Like it
Yeah.
feels like it's skirted being this like really hard, interesting Mario platformer. But
Yeah.
it never really fully went there. And I want like some lost levels. Like give me the real like Kaizo stuff.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be in the next Mario Maker. There'll be a new style.
That'd be cool.
Anyway, you ready to wrap?
Pick a Zelda Maker Nintendo. That's what everyone wants. Let's wrap it up.
Another year, another great time. I want to thank everybody who's listening, chilling with us. It's been a fun one. Hopefully, you know, we'll have more good games to talk about next year. And I want to see more. I want to see new shit. Give me some new shit. Video games. That's all I ask.
I don't know what to expect in 2024 for games.
Me either.
I can't tell if it's going to be a minor year.
We got
Be interesting.
Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm pretty excited for.
Oh, that might be that. That's true. That might be like a dark horse.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'm excited for Prince of Persia. I've been like, I pre-ordered it on accident and I didn't get the deluxe version, so I gotta wait till Friday to play it. That seems like it'll be cool.
Okay. That's neat. Check it out.
New Final Fantasy 7.
Right, Rebirth.
Oh, dude, I'm excited for Unicorn Overlord.
Me too.
I think that game's gonna be cool.
Yeah. I'm down. What you got, 2024? Show us what you got. Until then,
Show us.
we're Bad End Podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find us on the internet at Bad End Podcast. Email us at badendpod@gmail.com. We invite you to rate us and review us on iTunes. Check out our partners over on Superculture. We got Bullet Points, Funland, Heterotopias, Superculture Review. And we will see you soon. Thanks for joining. Later.